So I thought I'd wait a few days before I said any of this, just so people that aren't like me, where you have to see a movie right away, can take their time and see it after a few days. And this will be a 100% spoiler-free video. But it's time to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. And I would just like to say that this was genuinely an incredible, incredible movie. And I don't just mean superhero movie or comic book movie, I mean just incredible movie in general. But on top of that, I also think that this is the best Spider-Man movie that has ever been made. Just barely squeaking out ahead of Into the Spider-Verse for me. And mind you, this is coming from someone who isn't really a huge fan of Spider-Man as a character in general, but this movie was just beautiful. Like, the story was really well written. The characters bounced off of each other so well. Peter Parker, Tom Holland, doesn't get overshadowed by anybody in this movie like he does in a lot of his past appearances. The stakes actually feel so high, and everything feels intense because the performances from everybody is just so good. But they do an amazing job of mixing in that intensity and emotion with the lighthearted moments and the humor, and it just hits really, really well. But the emotional journey that Peter Parker goes on throughout this movie, the ups and downs and how it ends, is just like, it's just so heartfelt, but also heartbreaking. And I can sincerely say that this is firmly in the top 3 of the best Marvel Cinematic Universe movies that they put out. And I think it's probably in my top 5 of favorites, which are 2 very different lists for me. If you want to hear about that, let me know in the comments. But anyways, I would also like to say that this movie not only meets or even exceeds expectations, but it also subverts expectations. Like, we all expect what we think is going to happen, because, you know, we do our research, we know a lot about the shit, but really it does a good job of turning you the other direction. And when a story does that the right way, the emotional payoff afterwards is just that much better. And that's exactly what you're going to get in this movie. Now, last point I'm going to make. I never put a lot of weight into award season and what should be or shouldn't be nominated for shit. Because, you know, awards and accolades aren't the sign of a good movie. To me, anyways. But with all that being said, this man right here, Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin, deserves to be nominated for just everything. Nominate him for just all the shit. Just all the things. Like I said, awards aren't actually important. Like, they don't matter really for something that's actually good. But he deserves this stuff. Like, he was phenomenal. So yes, I definitely recommend seeing this. Even if you're not a huge fan, if you're just a casual fan of the MCU, Spider-Man, whatever, definitely go see this. It's amazing. And now the looming question remains. What lies in the future? You know, Doctor Strange, MJ, Ned, what comes next for everybody in the MCU?